It's definitely one of the best flying jets that I've piloted this year, but don't just take my word for it. Let's run through what it's capable of together and find out. Hey there, I'm John, this is Two Brothers RC, and this is the Kavan L-39 Albatros. It's definitely not inexpensive, but I think in this case, you're getting what you pay for. So, let's dive into it and see how it stacks up to the no patent pending Two Brothers review system. Before we get into the agility section, let's start by giving you my actual opinion of the L-39. First, I can't reasonably discuss this jet without telling you what it cost at the time we're flying it. It clocks in at $635 with free shipping. It handles beautifully in the sky and is one of the only jets that I've been able to get a neutrally handling center of gravity with absolutely zero mods required. All you do is push the battery back in the tray and you're good to go. That alone is worth the cost to me. When I don't have to hack up a plane to add weight to shift the balance point aft or cut up the canopy and stuff the battery into the turtle deck, I'm pretty happy. I'd be more than willing to pay a little bit more from other brands if I didn't have to do so much work to the airframe to get them to fly the way I want them to. There are some downsides, of course, like how this is clearly Kavan's first foray into EDF jets, so there's some weird design decisions to be shown, like not having a duct hatch to replace the motor. You gotta take off the entire tail to do it. That, and it comes with an outrunner motor, which might turn off some people, but let it be known, FMS 80mm fans drop right in, so you'll have nothing to worry about there. I think the Kavan jet is a perfect jet for you if you want a jet that flies light on the wing and can make proper use of AS3X Plus stabilization because you can balance it so aggressively out of the box, or if you just want to fly a cool looking L-39. Alright, let's see how it stacks up to the review metrics for 80mm jets now. First up in the maneuverability checks, we look for whether it's prone to accelerated stalls. If you're new to TBRC, we're looking for whether the jet stalls easily while maneuvering. It takes a lot of work to stall this plane, even with my super aggressive balancing point which is directly over the main wheels, so the jet passes here. It's very easy to make less nose heavy. In fact, it's possible to make it tail heavy if you're not using a heavier battery like an SMC 5900 HV2 pack. All you gotta do is push the battery back in the tray and you're good to go. Just make sure it's something in the 750 gram range for proper balance. Your balance check is very easy with this jet. Do not balance behind the main wheels. And if you balance it over the wheels, make sure that you're using a decent amount of expo. I went with 50%, and a gyro would definitely help a ton as well. AS3X Plus info will be in the back of the vid as usual. The L-39 passes here too. It takes off and lands without any struggle. Taking off is a breeze. If you're blessed with pavement, you can take off at half throttle and get a ton of flight time without wasting most of it on the takeoff roll. If you're taking off from grass, just be prepared for shorter flight times. Rotation from grass has to overcome the resistance of the grass, after all. The gear is durable, but I didn't remember to test for grass. Sorry about that, I'm sure it'll be fine. The retracts are solid metal and turbine-like in quality. Landing is also pretty simple with this jet. You can dead stick all the way down to about 6 feet off the ground, then feed in a little thrust and flare it on the mains. Do some touch and go practice like you're seeing here to really understand this jet. It pays off. You'll understand what I'm talking about with the approaches and how this jet prefers to land, but you'll also land better in general as you're responding to what the jet wants to do rather than trying to land it like a timber. It's good practice to carry some thrust in on the approach with the L-39 or any jet that isn't a Habu, But you can dead stick and slip all the way down from a couple of hundred feet in the air too. Try it and see, it's awesome. The L-39 passes here as well. The Outrunner motor produces more than adequate thrust for most maneuvers. You'll find it possible to do blenders, crazy tumbles, high-speed passes, lazy touch-and-goes, and slow flat passes, so long as you're managing your angle of attack. What you've got with this jet is a very capable power system that's able to throw this thing around, even if it's not an in-runner. It passes here too. We look finally at whether stall recovery is easy, and I intentionally stalled the L-39 in a couple of tests. First, I tested it while slamming the elevator stick at full throttle, and it resisted stalling. Coming out of the stall was simple. Just let off the pressure on the stick and return to level flight. Low-speed stalling was also pretty easy to recover from. The jet is overall very beginner to intermediate friendly with no nasty stall tendencies. This is another jet that proves that the cubic wing loading calculator is bullshit. What really matters in how a plane flies is its planform, servo quality, and your skill. The L-39 passes here with a total score of 5 out of 5. Moving on to the flight time section, 5900 HV2 packs from SMC with mixed throttle flying got me an average of just over 5 minutes of flight. That's something I'm noticing increasingly more with newer jets that come to market. I'm not conceited enough to think that my little YouTube channel is making a difference here, but it is nice to see that the jets are consistently getting closer to 5 minutes in general. Maybe I should set the standards a wee bit higher and make it 6 minutes for a perfect score. But for now, the L-39 passes with a 5 out of 5. Now we're in landing gear territory. Let's see what we've got here. First, we've got functional wheels. Yippee! That's a low bar, admittedly, but the L-39 certainly hops over it with another pass. Surprisingly, the wheels are actually squishy foam. They're not stiff plastic. In a rare case of checklist passery, we find that it does indeed pass here. Wow! I'm actually legitimately shocked, and that was not meant to be ironic because this is actually super rare. If you watch enough of our videos, you'll know what I'm talking about. The wheels are attached to a suspension system, which does pass, and it does seem relatively robust. It even has a nose gear brace installed by the factory for you grass pilots, or you dudes who like to land on the nose wheel. I know you're out there. The gear definitely required low maintenance. All I ever had to do was throw the switch and it operated flawlessly. Because this is turbine-style all-metal retracts, there's no loud whirring sounds to be heard. They're really quiet. If you're working on this plane late at night, you can operate the gear to your heart's content and not worry about pissing off your wife while she's trying to sleep. The gear works flawlessly in general. Every time I told the gear to drop or pull up, they worked as expected. This isn't something that always happens. I've had jets with underpowered electric systems that can cause gear to randomly stop working mid-flight. This, thankfully, was not the case. The L-39 passes again with a 5 out of 5. Before we move on to the fit and finish and avionics sections, consider scrolling down just a little bit and hit that like button for me. And if you're not already subscribed, please definitely consider it. And if you're not part of our Discord chat server community yet, hop down to the description below, join up, and chat airplanes with us. I promise we don't bite, just like this plane. Moving on to fit and finish, the paint came out looking impeccable out of the box. That's great, and it passes here. The foam wasn't bubbly or warped at all, which sometimes happens with foam when it's been shipped overseas, but not here. It passes again. Unfortunately, it does fail the check for gapless or plastic hinges. The entire aircraft is foam hinged, which is kinda meh, except for the flaps. Kavan is kinda like reverse FMS here. FMS likes to gapless hinge everything but leave the flaps foam hinged. Kavan foam hinged everything but made the flaps gapless. Still, it held up to what I forced it to do, but it does fail this checkpoint. It does have decals instead of stickers, which passes too, and the jet has airflow for the battery, which is awesome, because some of the flying I did was pushing it, and the packs never came down so warm that I had to worry about them. The jet passes here too for a final score of 4 out of 5. Our final category is Avionics and Lighting, and we begin by checking for whether the L-39 features metal servos. It does! They're actually really nice, precise, and fast enough. Can't complain at all. It passes here. The ESC never overheated at all, which does pass, but the motor definitely seemed to not appreciate back-to-back flights in the North Carolina summer heat. So if you are flying in summer and it gets warm where you are, definitely consider giving it a couple of minutes to cool off in between flights. It's just good practice anyhow. In fall, winter, and spring, you can probably fly it non-stop without any issues at all. It does contain a lighting system, and it does appear to be correct, with nav lighting properly indicating which side of the plane is which, and the landing lights are bright enough to be almost blinding. In daytime, they're very visible, which is awesome. I wish every plane had LEDs as bright as these. It passes here. The servos are, unfortunately, not easily replaceable. They're glued into the airframe instead of using servo boxes. This is one of the quirks that I mentioned earlier, along with foam hinges. Not a deal breaker, but definitely something I'd like to see Kavan improve going forward. The L-39 fails this checkpoint. The battery tray is up there as one of the battery trays of all time. It's really good, clowning aside. The fact that I don't have to cut out anything to get a neutrally handling center of gravity that balances right over the main wheels is absolutely phenomenal. I wish every company would make it this easy to get your center of gravity where you want it to be, not just nose heavy by default. The L-39 passes here too with a total score of 4 out of 5. Before we talk about the final scoring, let's discuss AS3X Plus gains. I settled on these gains with the intention that you'll be balancing over the main wheels like I did. If you choose to balance further ahead of the wheels so that the plane won't be as aggressive in pitch or yaw, you'll want to reduce the pitch gain a bit and increase the pitch priority too. Otherwise, it'll probably fly a little weird. Everything you've seen so far was flown with stock equipment, like servos and whatnot, contrary to some dudes who go around leaving comments saying that you can't trust what I say about these airplanes because I changed out the servos. That didn't happen here, but if it did, I always tell you what I'm flying so you know what to work with, or if you want to buy them, you can do so. Overall, the L-39 from Kavan scores a 23 out of 25. That's a pretty great score for a first-time jet from this company, and I think you can see that it flies pretty damn good. I can only imagine how much better their newer jets, should they choose to make them, would score. And I really do hope that they'll make newer jets because the market is dying for bigger aircraft like this in a sea of certain companies choosing to release nothing but 40mm jets. Believe it or not, some people like bigger stuff, and those people are willing to spend the money on bigger stuff. And dudes like Anthony at FPV Builds RC are willing to sell that bigger stuff to you. So if you like this jet, swing by fpvbuildsrc.com and get one for yourself. Or use our unaffiliated link below in the description. We don't make any money recommending this plane. We just want to show you what it can do, how it holds up to the no patent pending Two Brothers review system, and support a small business run by some really cool people. Huge thanks goes out to our channel members on twobrosrc.com/supporters, and you can be one too by visiting that URL. And a very special thanks goes out to our mega fans, Sarasota RC Squadron, Michael Smith, JR Man, and Todd, along with our ultra fans, Seahawk92 and TBRC Fan. You guys kick so much ass. Coming up soon will be the Avios C-130 Hercules from Hobby King. They sent it over, but I don't think they expected me to do this with it. See you guys next week.